Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Studs. I am your host, Daniel, and I'm joined today by Randy and Chris over here. I can't take it off. I'm done.
It's
It's gonna give me a headache.
We'll put them over here.
Today we're talking about Lego Easter eggs. So I'm the Easter bunny there, and I'm gonna lay some eggs for y'all today. Some eggs of wonder.
That was like an Easter egg.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. No, Easter eggs is what we're talking about today. Don't really have much to do with Easter, other than the fact that the concept of Easter eggs were introduced because it's like somebody leaving something behind for people to find. Basically, it's a reference to another media property, or basically an inside joke that you're kind of telling in a physical medium that people either will understand or they won't understand. Lots of people like to do breakdowns on Easter eggs for new sets and things, especially if they have lots of them. So Easter eggs is a very popular culture, both in Lego and in TV shows and
Video
culture in
games.
general, video games, absolutely. Little hidden secrets and things like that. So we're going to be talking about our favorite Easter eggs from all of Lego history. So to get us started here, we'll kind of introduce just a few sort of general concepts that Lego likes to go through time and time again. One that comes to mind for me, at least, is license plates on vehicles. They almost always have the Lego set designers' initials or name, or maybe the year they were born. Or something
Hey,
like
I've
that.
got a pro tip on that.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, so license plates on vehicles, it'll have like the designer's initials, but then it'll also have the set number.
Yes.
So if you're, especially the Lego City sets, so if you're ever looking, like if you have a little ambulance, every single hospital comes with an ambulance.
Yeah.
Every single police station comes with a couple of police cars.
Yeah, just look at our city cases.
Yeah.
So if you're ever trying to figure out what set you have or what set it goes to, look for the license plate, look for the license plate number, and that's quite often going to be the set number.
Yeah. Same thing with lots of like spaceships and underwater vehicles. Anything that has like big numbers stenciled on the side, they're typically the set number, something like that. But let's see, that's one they do a lot. Also, in pop culture sets, licensed sets like Marvel and DC superheroes will get stickers that just have all kinds of references to other things. So a set like the Daily Bugle is just littered with Easter eggs and references. There were some Daredevil references in there, which got a lot of people very excited. It's very topical. But general categories aside, let's jump into some of our favorite specific ones. We'll probably end up saving our best for last, but I think we each have about 10 or so of our favorite Lego Easter eggs. So who wants to go first? Randy, you want to pick out your first
You want
Easter
to pick
egg?
that first one? All right, let's see. Let's go with your favorite, Daniel.
My favorite?
Yeah, the Twilight set.
Oh,
One of the most recent ones. We're
my
going to hit a recent one.
favorite.
Daniel's
Oh,
favorite
Daniel the
movie
Twilight
franchise. Oh, yeah, he loves
Is
it.
he Jacob, Team Jacob, or Edward?
Yeah.
Every time we went over, I said I was team inside of my eyelids to watch it. So.
Right. But in this set, which is still a great architecture set, you have said that on other
I
videos,
have,
so I have video proof.
I have. Take all the minifigures.
Right. But there's by the piano, there's a piece of artwork, and it's the artwork of the Loch Ness Monster, which is reference to when Jacob nicknames Bella's baby Nessie, because the horrible name of Renesmee, they call her
Yeah.
Nessie, and she beats him up for nicknaming her daughter after the Loch Ness Monster.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I feel like even a sticker tile with the Loch Ness Monster on it in general is just a great piece to
Yeah,
have.
it's a good picture.
Yeah, that's
it's
very
that
cool.
classic with the head sticking out,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Where do I want to start here? All right, let's talk about. There was an Agents set. This was an original Agents set that had sort of the boat and the. It was like a big floating buoy, but it had these sharks with freaking laser beams.
Yes.
which is a great
Yes.
Austin Powers reference, if you know that.
Yes.
Kids, maybe don't go look that one up, but. Yes, the sharks with freaking laser beams. This was great when I was a kid. You know, Lego sharks before this time period had only been the small ones that came in pirate sets. And Agents was the first set to have these humongous sharks that you could fit entire minifigures inside of their mouths. And of course, they mounted, rocket-propelled grenades and laser beams on their backs and stuff. So the Agents theme kind of referencing a lot of things. We've talked about Agents before, referencing James Bond and Mission Impossible and things like that. So they did get a little bit of Austin Powers in there as well. So that's one of my favorite ones.
That's a good one. Speaking of Lego Agents, here's Lego Ultra Agents Hurricane Heist.
It's a double function.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's kind of an odd set though, and it was definitely not very popular.
Yeah.
You know, some of the bad guys in these sets are really expensive, and I'm going to talk about another one here soon. But this one, the bad guy wasn't so expensive. So this set, and this, I actually just learned this. I've had so many of these sets over the years, but that sticker right there on the windscreen is the Metal Gear Solid codec.
Really?
Yeah.
A Metal Gear Solid reference in a Lego
So
set?
apparently the designer of Metal Gear Solid the video game, was a big Lego fan. And so that's why they put that in this.
Ah, yeah, I see that. Yeah, I can see the resemblance.
Yeah.
You get the little,
Yeah.
you get the little thing there.
Yeah, wow.
140 point. Okay, they did 140.15. I don't know if that's a difference with the like frequency or whatever. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. Of course, you get the guy with the eye patch on there. That's neat.
That's very cool.
I mean, if with it being kind of inherently somewhat militaristic set, I would say you don't see a lot of sets with that much olive green in it. That's very on the nose for Easter egg. Very cool. I know it.
It's the best thing about the set.
Right?
A sticker.
That and
That's a function.
functionality
The
and
function's
the
cool.
overhead.
Yeah, yeah.
The cool blades.
All right, Randy, what you got for us
All
next?
right, well, I'm going to jump in with an Ultra Agents 2.
Okay.
Okay, we have the box here for it. And in this set, we have the amazing Solomon Blaze in here, who was also in Off-Road Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
So you have him, a little sneak in him. And
Yep.
you're both hopping over themes.
Now I think.
Wait, Solomon Blaze was in Alien Conquest.
Alien Conquest,
Yeah,
sorry.
he was
I wrote down
one of the
one, yeah.
blue spacemen
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
from Alien Conquest.
There have been a few times where Lego characters in their own internal themes have made a comeback under the same name.
I've got a bunch of them on mine. So
You got
There
some
you go.
pictures.
Oh, okay, great.
Ogle is one that always makes
love
a
it
comeback.
when you see him
Yeah.
come back.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
All right, well then here, as long as we're talking about Lego characters making a comeback, let's talk about a Lego figure who was never made until the Easter egg, but was popular before that nonetheless. Clutch Powers, of course, had his own movie that was very popular. You know more about Clutch Powers than I do, Chris. But Clutch Powers did not get his minifigure until the Ninjago City Gardens set, and then there was also like a blister pack set that came with him. One came with the belt and one without. I don't know why. But to get a Clutch Powers minifigure, you know, he's like he appeared in the show. He's not the true original Clutch Powers, but neat that fans got that. He's got the little CP insignia on his
Well,
jacket.
what's cool is he's 9 years older when the minifigure came out
Okay.
and when the movie came out, and he looks older.
He's got the eye patch and
Yeah,
that's something that happened in the movie.
He got an eye patch, which there's a whole backstory there that they haven't revealed yet.
We need more Clutch Powers.
Yeah, we do. If you haven't seen
we
the
need
Clutch
the-
Powers
Yeah.
movie,
We need the Rogue One of Clutch Powers where it fills in what happened between the original and the comeback. There you go. There you go. All right, Chris, what do you got for us?
Gosh, should we just keep on going with Agents Ultra?
Sure.
There's
Yeah,
so
right.
much in it. So there's Ogle. There's 2 Easter eggs here. Okay, so Ogle is Lego spelled backwards. He's one of my favorite bad guys. So Ogle is actually a descendant of Vladek from Knight's Kingdom.
It's out.
And that is lore in I think it's in a video game, a Lego video game.
Yeah, probably in a bunch of the magazines as well, and the comics
Yeah.
and things they would talk about.
So that's in my opinion, that's an awesome Easter egg. That's
Yeah.
the kind of stuff that I like.
Family It's very cool. Those villains, it runs in the name.
Yeah, and you can get the Ogle Lego set, Ogle Command Strike, at atlbrick.com for $29.99.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
And it's certified pre-owned with original box.
Who doesn't like that?
All right, Randy, what you got for us?
Okay, I'm jumping off Agents.
Do it.
I'm going to go for a little CMF guy here. We have our awesome Lumberjack from Series 5. And if you pay close attention, in one of my favorite series,
What's his name on his jacket there?
what's his name, Dad? Can you read it?
Kel? K-E? Maybe Ken? I don't know.
Is it Ken? I'm not
Something
sure.
like that. K-E something.
Yep. Lumberjack, whose name starts with a K,
Yeah.
jumps over to Series 14, which is my favorite, obviously. And he turns into a werewolf,
Yeah.
which is super cool.
Same character.
Same character. Yep.
I feel like they did
Great
this some other
clothes.
times
You can
too.
see
as
it.
well. It was one of the early series where they had the skateboarding kid with the blue skateboard and like the sand green hoodie, and then there was one of the books that came with the zombie skateboarder
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
There was another
Yeah.
one where they kind of did it. It wasn't one of the regular series figures, but I think it was one of the books that had the zombie skateboarder. So that's always cool when the
That's so
CMFs
fun,
they
though.
can come back
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
self-referential.
That's a great one.
Self-referential. Very good.
Love that.
All right, I'm going to talk about a Hogwarts Easter egg here. So this was in the 3rd edition of Hogwarts, which was one of the rarer versions. This was the first one that had the Dolores Umbridge minifigure, and this is one of the most expensive versions of Hogwarts that you can get on the aftermarket. Set 5378. There was a printed tile that came in this set that appeared in no other sets, and it's this dark gray 1x2 tile that has these runes on it, and it was like hidden under this statue. You pull the statue minifigure out, and the tile was on the bottom of them. And the runes, the large runes in the middle translate to Lego. And then there's smaller runes around the edge as well that say Leg Godt, which is the Danish where Lego came from. And then the English translation played well as well in runes. So
That is super cool.
very cool tile. I mean, it's got a cool visual
That's
style.
printed too, right?
It's printed. It's not a sticker.
Yeah.
It's kind of buried in the set there. It's not. I mean, it's a little expensive for a tile. You can get it for like maybe $4 or something, but it's just a really cool piece. I know I had this set. I need to see if I still have that tile somewhere. All right, Chris, what you got next?
Gosh, there's so much here.
We're furiously crossing things
Yeah, I know,
off.
right?
I'm gonna come back to Ultra Agents. I don't want to wear it out.
Sure.
Because there's so much. There's some really good Ultra Agent stuff. It's such a great theme. Let's do the DeLorean. This was the first DeLorean set, the Lego Ideas set. So there's a lot going on in this set. Number one, it was one of the first Lego Ideas set. I think the first one was the Minecraft micro one, right?
I think that was even under Kusa.
Kuso. Okay.
That was still into that branding.
Well, the smaller DeLorean had the misprinted shield tile on the flux capacitor.
HEILT.
Yeah.
However, on the dashboard, that you could set what time you wanted to go back to. And on the time on the dashboard, it is 1/28, 1958 or something like that.
Okay.
And that was the year that Lego got the patent on their brick.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's not just the date from the movie.
Correct.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not just the date from the movie.
That's cool. I like that.
It was around 1958. It was around that time.
Okay.
Probably. For some reason, I'm thinking 1954.
In the movie, it was 1985, 55, and 2015. They were all 30 years.
Gotcha.
So yeah, they might have changed it a little bit for the brick pen. That's cool. That's kind of. All right, Randy.
All right. Let's see my next one. I'm gonna go to a whole different one, which is the Home Alone house, which is one of my favorite ones. I think they fit so much into that set. It's so fun. One of my favorite things is the TV the sticker piece that's on there that he's watching the TV is from the movie Angels with Filthy Souls that he's watching that scares him in the house.
Did anyone else think that was a real movie?
I did.
Like,
yeah.
for
When I was
the
a kid, I
longest
thought it was a
time.
movie. I can see that
When you
being
grow up,
one
you
of
realize
those-
it's a fake movie.
Right?
You
So
filthy
fun.
animal.
Right. It's got the statue on the front that everybody knocks over.
The little the statue guy.
On my set, I always have him knocked over.
Yeah. Of
He's
course,
so
you have
great.
all the traps and things.
All the
that-
traps and
that
things,
Kevin
but
lays.
yeah.
Ooh, I've got one from the Home Alone.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you
I'm
have...
surprised you didn't have this one.
Oh, wait.
Okay,
I have one
so-
more, but let's see which one do you
go
have.
ahead.
Go ahead. Oh.
Okay, Kevin's airline ticket.
Oh, yes.
It says Kevin
Yes.
on it. Yeah, his forgotten airline ticket. It says Adwind Airlines. And that was the set designer for the Lego Ideas submission.
Yeah.
That was his username for Lego Ideas.
As
Edwin?
Oh, yeah,
That's cool.
'cause it sounds
Okay, I
like
didn't know
it.
about that.
Sounds
Yeah.
like an airline. That's cool.
That's really cool. I like that. Oh, the other one I had was the boiler opens up.
Oh,
You know, like it's the big scary, it's the big scary face inside the boiler.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I like
down
the
in the
little
basement.
the cardboard standee of
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan
Michael
The
Jordan
cardboard
on the
standee
train that goes around.
goes
That,
around.
oh, there's so many good things in that. But
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Lots of good play features and Easter eggs.
Yep.
All right, the Saturn Apollo 5 had 1,969 pieces, and that was the year of the launch, 1969.
That's right.
Yes.
You're the
So
you're the
cool.
moon.
Yeah.
Movement.
That's
Yep.
cool. And that was the Apollo set?
Well, if you believe in the moon landing.
So in set 5974, this was a Space Police 3 set. Space Police 3 set. This was the basically the large kind of flagship of the Space Police 3 wave here. Got some great minifigs, but this one also had them stealing the statue that was the statue of the classic space minifigure, basically. So it was a all-white kind of classic space minifigure, but with this like cracked stone kind of effect on the torso. And then there was a stickered brick on the bottom of the statue as well that said, I think it's like Anno, and then probably like 1958 or something. I think it was the year that either the brick was founded or that the minifigure was founded. It's in Latin. In Annos Triginta ad Caelum infinitum construxit, which means in 30 years we built to the infinite sky.
Oh.
That's a cool
That's
translation.
cool, yeah.
Commemorating the 30th anniversary of Lego Space. So anyway, the just in the lore sense was there was this statue, I guess, in town hall or whatever, where they tied a chain around it like an ATM. And actually, there was another set where they stole an ATM that I'm thinking of, but this one they stole this statue. So this is kind of cool. I think for people who collect like the colors of classic spacemen, this is kind of a fun one to collect as well.
Being a big Lego fan, I've always wanted to tie the whole Lego universe together, and that's kind of what Clutch Powers did. So that's why
It's very like Pixar theory kind of thing.
Yeah.
You could make these sort of long chains of Ogle's related to Vladek and related to Baron von Baron, and start tying it all together. Pretty cool. Let's see, who's next?
Ooh, it's my turn?
Yeah, sure, go
All right,
ahead.
all right. Yeah, I love this one. All right, I've talked about this one.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so Bro Thor, hysterical scene. I mean, in New Asgard. I remember watching this with my daughter. She was obsessed with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And I had already seen it, and I knew it was happening. She was just like
His
looking
dad
at her
waiting for it.
face. And when she sees him, she just like explodes.
Yeah.
Because he got all of that.
But this was filmed locally right here in Fayetteville, Georgia.
Mm.
And this beer can right here, it's the orange can, is Tropicalia from Creature Comforts, which is brewed up in Athens. And at the time, it was one of my favorite beers, but it was also hard to get. And the film crew all was drinking it. They were all obsessed with it. They would send people out on delivery day to the local gas station to buy it. And they brought it back, and they actually put it in the movie.
Yeah.
And then they also put it in the Lego set.
That's awesome.
That's just a soda.
Really cool.
That's just a soda can, Chris. What are you talking about?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like soda makes you look like fruit.
Yeah, sure it does. No, that's a good one. You bring up that set all the time, and you never talk about the Fortnite on the TV either.
Sure,
He's
yeah.
playing
Yeah.
Fortnite on
That's
his
right.
Playing
TV.
Fortnite.
Oh, he is.
That's
Yeah,
a
I'm
good
sure
one.
there's some more references.
What we got on the
there.
newspaper
There's a
there?
lot.
Right.
5 years after the blip.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pizza probably
Yeah.
is something.
Is this a picture of him up here with Jane Foster?
There's a
Yeah.
blue micro figure up there that could be something.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a ton.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Marvel just
Very good. All right, Randy,
All right.
you are up.
Speaking of Thor, let's go to outer space.
Yeah.
There's my thing. All right. We'll go here. Well, I guess not outer space, but
You
I
try.
don't know. I
You
tried.
try.
I don't know. Lego Movie. There's spaceships in Lego Movie. Like, there's this spaceship right here.
Yeah, that's right.
So, in here we have the great references on the minifigures. You have Fabuland,
Yeah.
which is great, and you also have the Blacktron. Where's he at on the front of the box? There he is. Yes, you have the Blacktron reference also on their clothes on the Lego Movie set.
Yeah. He's got that big
Right.
Blacktron 2B on his shirt, which a
Right.
lot of people don't like, but
Yeah.
yeah, there he is on the top.
The Fabuland is great.
Family's
The
fantastic.
Fabuland.
That was
really,
one of
really
the
great.
amazing things about the Lego movie is
Yeah.
all the Easter egg.
Another great torso. It was
Yes.
in one of the Ninjago City sets. There was a Galador one as well. It was like a sand blue torso with the Galador
Oh,
logo
nice.
on it, which is I always love to see Galador references.
And so you had brought up Ninjago bringing Clutch Powers back. Ninjago also brought back Invisible from
Yeah.
Ultra Agents, who's like over $100 minifigure.
Yep,
Some of those Ultra Agents villains are just insane.
because they're super cool.
Yeah.
We did a whole video about Ultra Agents figures, and you should go watch that. But there's so many great minifigs.
And then they also brought back Tuxedo.
All right, let's talk about some Indiana Jones. All right, so in the this is a multi-layered kind of Easter egg here. So Lego came out with the first Well of Souls set, which it was called something else. I don't think they've ever called it the Well of Souls. I don't know why, but it's the set with the Ark of the Covenant in it. And they had the sticker over the top between the two Anubis statues that had C-3PO and R2-D2 on it, very prominently displayed. Now, this was an Easter egg in the movie. There were lots of Star Wars references in Indiana Jones. You had Club Obi-Wan in the second one. You had the C-3PO and R2-D2 in there. So it was an Easter egg from the movie that they represented in the set, now albeit, like I said, in a much more prominent location. And then when they remade this set in the last couple of years, they brought it back again. Yeah, tell us.
Randy, do you want to go?
No, you go ahead. That's way too exciting.
All right,
Go.
we've got
Yeah,
the
no, go.
Spider-Man Bridge Battle, Ultimate
Yeah.
Bridge Battle.
Like I said, Marvel
Yeah.
sets are just
They
loaded.
do.
with-
Yeah, they really are. So in this one, we've got a 1962 sticker above the bridge. That was the year that Spider-Man made his first appearance in a comic book.
Okay, so
Yes.
Yeah.
all right, Randy, I think it's your turn.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Next one. A real quick fun one, though, that I enjoyed building a lot was the Jaws set.
Yes.
In the Jaws set, and I have him attacking the boat when I have it on my display. But
course.
yeah, I don't want it by himself.
Yeah.
I don't want this shark by himself. But the
Do you have
Amityville Gazette. Oh, sorry.
the gas canisters in his mouth making him explode.
Yes. Oh, it's so funny. But the Amityville Gazette tile on there, it says Campbell attacked, which is the designer's name. So it's another
nice.
reference like we were talking about earlier, which I think is really fun. I think it's got to be super exciting for them to have just like that fun little reference.
Oh,
in there.
for
I
sure.
think that's
They do it all the time.
a great
Especially-
little
Could you
homage.
imagine being immortalized
Right.
in a Lego set?
I think that would be, yeah, I can't even, just that little bit. I think it's so cool. So,
Yeah, Lego set designers do it, but then they also do it. We mentioned a little bit earlier. We're talking about Lego ideas. A lot of times they'll make references to like the original Lego ideas designer as
Yes.
opposed to the final set designer, which is also very cool.
yeah.
All right, let's do. All right, this is a very subtle one, but or a very obscure one, I should say, but a very good one nonetheless. I'm very partial to it. So this was from a Scala set number 3142, and there was a stickered piece in this set that is very cool to me personally, but it is a Lego Island CD cover. So if you were a fan of Lego
Yes.
Island at all, there is a real 2x2 tile with a really kind of blurry, grainy picture just because it was a sticker from, gosh, what year did this set come out? This is Marie's Room from 1999. But there were a couple CD disc tiles as well there on the round ones. One of them was plain and one said Lego Scala on it. But then there's the 2x2 square tile that has the Lego Island CD.
That's great.
They're pretty hard to find. I did buy one, but I had to get it from somewhere in Europe, I think. So pretty cool to see there's a real reference to Lego Island.
Never
'Cause
knew that existed.
Lego largely likes to pretend that Lego Island never existed. All right, Chris, what you got for us?
Let's see. I still have a lot of really good ones. Okay, here's a pretty obscure one in the 2012 Monster Fighter series. All right,
Yay.
the
Did you steal this one from Randy?
No,
well, I was thinking about you
that one.
when I did this one, but this one's so obscure that you wouldn't have known it.
okay.
So they, you know how they had the comic
Oh,
books,
we'll see about
the
that.
comic books that came with the sets.
Right.
They had a little insert comic book, and when they activated the Moonstone, so in Monster Fighters they've got the different 5 different stones.
7.
When 7. Okay.
See? Don't come for her like that, Chris.
The Moonstone
Gonna get
was,
corrected.
was the purple one.
That.
In Galaxy Squad, they had the mosquito-looking alien spaceship. So in the comic book, when they activated the Moonstone, it sent a signal out into space and activated the aliens to come attack Earth.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it was like
that, the Galaxy Squad ship.
It was like an Easter egg for it was like a teaser for the upcoming theme, which had not yet come out.
And
At that
that's
time.
the ship that on the back it has like the purple pod, which is the same color as the Moonstone.
Okay. Oh, look at that. Okay, I like
There
that.
you go. Fun little cross references there.
Right.
All right, back to you, Randy.
In this awesome Atlantis set, we have a fun reference. In this little skeleton here, we've got a skeleton from Aqua Raiders.
Yeah.
He's got his little helmet on down there, just floating along.
The previous underwater theme by how many years? Let's see.
Not many, honestly. It was like, I'm guessing 4 years.
Certified.
It is certified, yeah.
So 2010 was Atlantis.
So 2007 was Aqua Raiders.
Yeah.
So 3 years.
A few years. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're already dead.
And they're dead.
And
yeah.
they're dead, yeah.
They got killed by those underwater
At
monsters.
the bottom of the ocean.
So you can buy that on atlbrick.com.
You can.
You could.
Certified pre-owned.
Honestly, 180 bucks doesn't sound
Right, it really doesn't sound bad at all.
There have been a number of Lego truck sets, the big yellow trucks, right? And there have also been a number of Monkey Kid sets, as well as a handful of others that have had little printed or stickered tiles that are miniature versions of the box art of other Lego sets. So most of them will be like city sets, especially in those Lego trucks. The newest one had some printed tiles that were really nice for like the new like Prison Island, Alcatraz set. So all these little sets, a bunch of them were in this Monkey Kid set, the City of Lanterns. So let me pull up the sticker sheet here. Yeah, so like I said, you had the Ferris Forbidden Ruins. There was a Paradisa set. You also had like kind of the big three classic sets. You had the Black Seas Barracuda. You had the Galaxy Explorer. Cool. You had the Yellow Castle. Just all these nice little stickers you can put on those bricks there. And it's because there's a Lego retail store in the City of Lanterns.
Yeah. A fun, quick one for me was the Hocus Pocus house, which I was so excited for.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Is
amazing.
that one of your favorite sets of all time?
It is one of my favorite sets of all time. It's a great build. They did such a good job with it. And how the top opens up so easily and everything. Like, it's so nice so you can access all the different parts of it. But Allison is one of the minifigures we got. And then in the set, you got a little container of salt. Because in it, she learned that she could take the salt and wrap herself in a circle so the witches couldn't get her. But I think that's really fun because that was a fun part of the movie of how she protects everybody. Yep.
Very cool. And you also got the Black Flame Candle.
The Black Flame Candle, right? Which was a printed piece, and it had that new gray flame to go on the top of it, which was really, really cool.
All right, let's see. I was talking, this is one of my favorite ones. I started this one to save it towards the end. I was already talking about the Ferris Forbidden Ruins from Adventurers. So in that original set, in the Ferris Forbidden Ruins, there were a number of these large printed wall panel pieces on the front that had the hieroglyphs on them. Mm-hmm. So if you translate these, there were also the obelisk pieces. There were 4 different obelisk pieces in all of the different sets.
Parts.
Mm-hmm. But in those panel pieces, specifically in the Ferris Forbidden Ruins, there were some larger hieroglyphs that said the name of several of the Egyptian gods. So you had Thoth, Khnum, Anubis, and Horus referenced there in those obelisks, but and on the panels. But then there were smaller hieroglyphs on those panels as well, which were a little harder to translate. But I sat down and I did it one time, and they were a lot of the designers' names. So Niels, a reference to Niels Milan Peterson, the guy who sculpted a lot of the original animals and like the skeleton and a lot of those original molds. So there were a handful of them in there for those designers' names. So you can look them up if you want a fun little challenge. Do some hieroglyphic translations.
All right, following along with the adventures theme, Johnny Thunder.
Yeah.
Who I always thought was kind of like a knockoff Indiana Jones.
100%. Yes.
You know, they did Indiana Jones without having to license it. Which is funny because then they came back out. They need to do something with Indiana Jones and Johnny Thunder. They need to tie those up. But anyhow.
Well, it's great. We could do a whole video about things that Lego had done their own unlicensed version of, and then later obtained the license for it.
Kind of like Chima's Game of Thrones.
Indiana Jones was one, but another one that came to mind recently, they had done the detective collectible minifigure, and now there's a rumor for a Sherlock Holmes set that's going to be going on. So they had already made that kind of cap with the double bill thing, and you have the magnifying glass and stuff, so it'll be interesting to see how different those minifigs are.
So there's 2 Johnny Thunder ones, and I think you mentioned one of them already came out in the Lego movie Dropship. You had Lloyd in it from Ninjago and Johnny Thunder, which was awesome. The only difference with those Johnny Thunders is he's got the back printing. So Johnny Thunder came back out in that set, but in a 2010 Dino, remember before they started doing Jurassic World, which is another one.
And there's another one,
In the 2010 Yellow Box Dino sets, there was a guy in one of the big sets, I think it was the big base, and his name was Josh Thunder. He's a descendant of Johnny Thunder.
Oh, a descendant. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, Randy, what do you got for us next?
What if we all tackle this nice big haunted mansion? Because there's so many good things in this.
This is chock full.
Right? I feel like it goes along with some of the things you were just talking about. So
absolutely.
We have it on here. One of the things I have is the gravestone.
Oh, yeah. Right
down here has the TC on it for the designer Tiago Catanero?
Catarino.
Yeah. Okay. And that also
former Lego designer.
Sorry. And he also has that same tile in the Titanic. So it cross-references.
So apparently he had pitched the Titanic set, but didn't stick around and work for Lego long enough to develop it.
Oh, okay.
So that's why they put the gravestone
That's a with his initials
The
on it.
Titanic, I'm guessing it's similar to this.
Well, so it had been in that exact same font in the red, I guess, like wax seal on the ship in the bottle set, which he had designed. Well, it was a Lego idea set, but he was the final Lego designer on it. So he put his initials on the seal, and then, yeah, like you said, he was working or was in the process of suggesting the Titanic set, and they already had this tombstone for him in this set. So it was not morbid, just because he left Lego. They were saying it was like he died.
Yeah.
You know.
It was his way. That's a cool send off.
Yeah.
I'd take that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
Where else we got in this one, Randy?
Inside here, pretty sure it's on this side right here. It's my favorite
Oh,
part.
I got one.
You
There's
got
a
one?
pumpkin in the front, and it's a Easter egg because it's a Halloween set.
It's a Halloween
Good.
Easter egg.
Yes.
It's not Halloween. I have this up year round.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would.
Right, yeah. Let's see. In here we have the he's right here, right? The adventurers, right? We have the painting of Samuel von Baron, which is a tie to adventurers and the Orient Expedition theme.
Yeah.
Which I
It
think
was
is a
the
fun
main
one.
villain from that
Yes.
whole line, which was super cool.
Yep.
I watched a lot of the designer videos with this, and it was Mike Psyche and Carl Merriam, who are some of the best designers and most appreciative of Lego history, and they were just he was dressed in a whole like Baron von Baron costume, he had the pith helmet and everything on, and they were just rattling through all these fantastic Easter eggs.
All right. What else do you guys have?
I mean, did you finish all your ones? Because I could just
I was gonna say. I know there's the Go ahead. Go,
all right.
Daniel.
Yeah, so you had the portrait, which has him, Baron von Baron holding the Rego Ruby, which was the chase item from the first wave of adventures, and it lights up, and you see the Pharaoh Hotep there with his like mummy's curse kind of over him because he stole the ruby. Over the elevator shaft, you have the Sphinx Secret Surprise head,
Sphinx
basically
is so cool.
nearly identical sculpting to the original. Gosh, I got to do a quick refresher
There's the
here.
green skull in the. There's a reference. Or is it the skull in the green or the skull in the green cover? What is that?
Oh yes. Yeah, there's a green dome. That was a Alpha Team reference as well. It was one of the Ogle's minions, like mind control bombs that he's gonna drop all over the city. There's a yellow thing with a couple like dishes and cones. That was an Orient Expedition. But in like Nepal and like near Everest and stuff, there's lots of these little like shrines and temples with like these golden bells and things. So it was kind of a reference to that. There's a printed tile up here as well that had a Fright Nights reference on it. There's a Roman numerals for one of the Fright Nights sets, which is very cool. So it was mostly based on adventures, but they pulled things in from all these other classic Lego themes. I think, let's see what else. There's the Anubis statue heads here as well. And then they redid the obelisk piece with a new translation here, which was Ogle. You could read it bottom to top as Lego, but it reads Ogle from the top down. Gosh, trying to think if there was anything else. There was like a TNT thing with a plunger, just because Adventures was riddled with TNT and stuff. But I think the last one in here, which I saved for the end because it's going to be a good segue to my next one, is a crate in here, the 3x4 brown crate with these seemingly random parts in it. It's a pair of gray minifigure legs by itself, and then these dark orange. It's a brick, a slope, and a tile. And what you're supposed to do with this is you put the legs on the brick, and this is a reference to, you all might not know about this. This is a very like snapshot in time kind of thing. There was a flash game on Lego.com in the early 2000s called Junkbot. And I remember playing this as a kid. It was a little like platforming game where you would run around as Junkbot, and he was this little orange trash can guy.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
And you had to collect all the trash or the bricks or something and clean them up, and there were recycling bins, and you would get points and stuff. I remember playing this on Lego.com as a kid.
You said this was the early 2000s?
Yeah, probably early in the 2000s.
I was playing Halo at the time.
Okay.
Xbox.
Yeah, some of us didn't have an Xbox when we were
With LAN parties.
probably 5 years old. Or whatever. So anyway, reference to Junkbot, very cool. They put him in this crate like he's just kind of been discarded, and also because I think technically putting minifigure legs in a brick is an illegal connection. So we managed to get a Junkbot reference.
Amazing.
That's super cool.
Incredible reference.
Randy, why
Not
didn't
a
you
lot of
have
people
that one on your list?
I don't know. I need to do better. I'm gonna do it next
Well,
time.
so in the instructions for this set, they explain a lot of the
They do,
Easter eggs with little blurbs in the corner. But I think the blurb for this one was just something like, a crate of of old junk or something because it was junk bot, but they didn't explicitly explain it, and so it left a lot of people kind of scratching their heads. I think that's all of them, but I don't know. I mean, it's
There's
just
so much
that
good
set
stuff
is
in it.
just chock-a-block full.
Did you have anything else for this one, Chris?
No.
No.
I mean, it looks
It's
like
so
the
good.
skeleton is the Baron von Baron minifigure, right? Because he's got the top hat.
It was his it was his friend Sam Sinister.
Yeah, that's right.
There was a lot of overlap.
So
with
that's
his
probably
characters.
Yeah.
And went through various renamings throughout the different sub themes.
No.
So as a quick segue here, in the Ninjago City docks, this is my next one that I also had starred. In the Ninjago City docks, there was a arcade cabinet that was a junk bot arcade cabinet. So it's a orange. They made lots of little arcade cabinets by now, but it was an orange one, and it had some stickers on the side that had junk bot on it as well. So again, Ninjago City sets always just being loaded with stickers that are references to wild old obscure things, but it means that the designers who were building them know Lego very well and have those things at heart and have good nostalgia for them.
The Ghostbusters Firehouse.
Okay.
On the inside, they've got all those like IP sets, like Friends and The Office. There's just so many Easter eggs inside all those, but this one is kind of special because it says RIP-HR on the bulletin board, which is Harold Ramos, because he had died recently. He's the guy that played Egon.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
That's a great. That was
Nice little homage. Very timely.
Another homage was in the Alien Conquest set, was the big blue truck, and I've probably bought. That was the only set that those blue windows came in, the double windows, because this one I used to use to build the first TARDIS kit that we made like 15 years ago, or whenever that set came out, which I think was 2010, 15 years ago. Anyhow, on that truck there was a sticker that said NNENN. It was Nate Nelson's username that he went by. He was this is really interesting because he was a mock builder. He was not a Lego set designer. He was just a big Lego fan and a mock builder that was known for making the Viper class spaceships. Yeah, at the time they were probably posting them on Flickr or something like that. And so they have a picture of a Viper, and then it says NNEN on him.
It's just a little homage to the Kennedy.
Which is
cool, yeah.
definitely different because he did not work for Lego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I feel like we don't get as much these days. I mean, back then there were a lot of really well-known builders who were like pillars of the community, that had such an impact on Lego that they would be recognized like that. So
And they actually were, so they even let some of them design a Lego set. I like the Lego Factory set. The Chris
Mark
Stevens,
Sandlin and Chris Giddens both did factory sets, but they also had some hand. I think Mark Sandlin went back to do some Mars Mission or some Space Police 3. I think he had some involvement with those types as well.
Daniel Siskin with, even before that, Daniel Siskin did the Blacksmith Shop,
The original Blacksmith Shop. Yeah.
counter of Brick Mate.
We'll both get in. Very cool.
Very cool.
All right, Randy, what do you
All
got for us?
Speaking of The Office set.
We were?
Yeah, he just brought up The Office.
You did?
He totally did.
I did,
Oh.
yeah.
He did.
Okay.
He
I
was
did
talking
talk about The Office.
he did.
There's so much in The
There's so
Office.
much in The Office, but my favorite thing is one of the first things you build in Michael's office. That's, within the first few pages, you open it up, you start building Michael's office, and before you put his desk, you put the little brown chocolate swirl.
Oh, that
Yeah.
And you put his desk on top of
That's
it, and you
awesome.
never see it unless you take the desk off.
That was
An homage to his best buddy, Todd. Yeah.
All right, let's see. All right, since we're just making up transitions,
Uh-huh.
speaking of Lego modular buildings.
He said The Office.
Oh, did he?
Really
Maybe
did.
I must have missed it then. One of my favorite modulars, and even one of the most expensive ones these days, apart from the original few, the Brick Bank. Had a fantastic they've started adding a lot more storytelling to the modular buildings, and they're only getting better. The detective's office was another fantastic one, but a lot of these have sort of like a plot that you can follow now. So in the detective's office, I think there was like a cookie, maybe that was the police department. There are ones that now go between the modular buildings as well, like across them. So there's a whole thing where they've got like donuts and cookies that they're like luring the cops in with and stealing them. But in the brick bank, there was a whole thing. There was a laundromat next to the bank, which is already like a reference to money laundering. But there was like a secret pass through between one of the washing machines and the vault in the bank, and then there was a chimney that like the criminals could come down. So it's mostly play features, but I think it kind of qualifies as an Easter egg because of just the amount of sheer storytelling that they can do without having anything written on a piece of paper. Like they're just creating play features, and you know the criminal has a donut on the end of a stick that he's dangling in front of the cops. You know, it's just, the storytelling with it is great. Even in the more recent museum set, they had there's like a whole story about this dog that's like run through the museum, and so there's like a bone that he's going after from one of the dinosaurs, and there's a face that he knocked over from one of the things. So I think it's really cool the way they're doing that in the modular building service. All right, Chris, what you got?
Before I get to my absolute favorite, I only have one left. It's the Lego Pixar Easter egg. So apparently in all the Lego movies, there's an Easter egg where they put A113 somewhere. That is the animator's class. That I guess
It was like the room number.
Yeah. So that's their own Pixar movie one. That's in the cartoons. But in the Lego Cars set, the spy one where they're all spies, there's the big plane, the big spy plane. And on the tail it says A113.
Yep. Very cool. As far as I know, the only time one of those made it into a Lego set. But yeah, cool that it's something that's very well known amongst Pixar fans. Got
And I'm not
embodied.
I'm not a Pixar fan actually.
Oh,
This is after my time.
really?
Okay, are we doing our last one, or are we still
I
doing?
pretty much got my last
Okay.
one or two. Yeah.
I can just skip. I can skip
You
to
want
my
pass?
favorite. I'll just go. Oh, no, I can go to just my favorite one. Is that what we're doing?
I got two left.
I need to know what
Oh, okay.
R2's doing.
All right, so R2 is an honorable mention because it's not really an Easter egg, but it's a little Easter eggy. R2 is my favorite character in all of Star Wars, and I will die on that hill. But one of his fun little things in this set, all right, you pull up his front little quarter here, and inside he has Luke's lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. His little reference that he pops out to him, and I just think that's such
Is
a
there a
fun little-
hologram of Leia?
that
They
I
made the piece.
they didn't put that button on here.
Why
I don't
would
know
they
why.
do
What a
that?
waste, right?
Yeah.
Chris, you gotta start
Huh.
designing some things here. But I just think that's such a fun little reference to that, and I love R2. Okay, and I have one last one before my favorite.
Yeah,
My
go for
one
it.
last one, shockingly, is a Harry Potter set.
Mhm.
It's Malfoy Manor. Underneath the table
Yeah.
on the second floor, the tiles make a Death Eater, which I think
The
is
Dark
super
Mark,
cool.
yeah.
The Dark Mark,
Yeah.
yeah. Symbol of Death Eaters, yes, thank you. And I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
So that's my
It's the skeleton with the like snake coming out
snake
of its
tail
mouth.
coming down, and it looks really cool in the tile on the
Yeah.
floor. So
Pretty dark for that set. Honestly, there's
Right.
a lot of dark stuff that happens
now you
there.
know.
but-
Now you know why I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. All right, my second to last one. This is kind of an amalgam of a bunch of Easter eggs, but it's basically any time that they have like a little micro build of a Lego set. So I already talked about like printed tiles and stickers, but they do lots of little miniature builds of other Lego sets. So in the 90th anniversary castle, there was like a little miniature yellow castle that the kids were playing with. In the History Museum, they had one that was like the Force Stronghold that they made the gift with purchase out of. The Forestman set, and I think also a yellow castle in that one as well. Let's see, in a lot of Monkey Kid sets, they've done this before also. There was the employee advent calendar that came out that was the brick buildable advent calendar that had references to stuff like the wooden duck is one that you see a
They've
lot.
put the wooden duck in quite a few sets.
Yeah, tons of stuff. You get little miniature versions of the wooden duck, as well as yellow castles and things. There were some other great references in that advent calendar. And there was another one I just thought of. Oh, there's one that comes up all the time. I see it on the Lego subreddit a lot. There was a Creator House set that has these two little mini builds in it. One of them is, I think it's the Chrome Crusher from Rock Raiders. It's the one with the drill on the front. And then the other one is the squid from the Atlantis set. The first one, that's the gate where you put the thing in and you turn it and the gate opens and it's got the big squid mounted on it. and they're little miniature builds of that, and people all the time are posting on the subreddit, and they're like, "What are these supposed to be?" Because they don't get it. They're buying creator sets. They're
Yeah.
long-standing Lego fans, I guess. So they love to do that, little miniature builds of previous sets. So I always like them when they're classic, vintagey kind of stuff.
I will start with my favorite
There we go.
Do it.
Easter egg
Yep.
here.
Final
I don't
round?
have
Yep,
a show and
final
tell, unfortunately. We
I
haven't
don't
had
have
this
mine
set in
either.
a long time. This is one of my favorites for many reasons. Number one, I just saw it and immediately knew it was an Easter egg without being told. So it's the Lego City Schoolhouse. They came out recently when they decided to get away from base plates and do the raised road plates. Lego City School 60329. The two characters' names, it's a boy and it's a girl. And their character names are Billy and Madison.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's like,
that's amazing.
One of my favorite movies
Yeah.
from when I was younger.
All right, I'll do mine next. I didn't actually say my top favorite one for last. The Junkbot one was probably my favorite, but I jumped in early on that one. But this one's very good. I think you're gonna like this one a lot, Randy. So
Okay.
in the Jurassic Park gate,
Yes.
there's the giant buildable dinosaur, right?
Uh-huh.
And while you're building the dinosaur, in the middle of it, in the middle of the torso, you place a little frog piece, and it gets covered up, and you never see it again. And this is a reference to, in the movie, how the DNA for the dinosaurs, they said, oh, there were some gaps in the code, but we filled it in with frog DNA.
Yeah.
So that is in there. This is a well-known Easter egg. A not as well-known Easter egg, which has come up recently in the new T-Rex fossil set. They took it a step further. Let me back out here. And there's a frog in the middle of the spine for the T-Rex fossil. That's a frog sitting in a chair with a steering wheel. He's driving the fossil.
Is it visible from
It's
the
not.
outside?
It's not visible.
completely
No.
covered?
Crazy.
No. Even
Oh,
though it's
that's
very
great.
skeletal, it's in the core spine in the middle.
I can picture
Oh
people
my
building
gosh.
that set, not knowing and
No.
being like,
Yeah.
what am I building here?
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. You can actually maybe you can
Oh.
see it under the.
Oh, look! Looks like if you
lift
lift the
up
tail.
neck or the tail or
Is
something,
that what
maybe
it
we
is?
can see it. Yeah, maybe. All right, Randy, what do you got for your final one for us?
All right, final one is one of my favorite sets of all times, the A-frame cabin.
Yes.
There's always so many fun things with that set. First of all, speaking of frogs, there's a hidden frog underneath the stairs.
Lego puts frogs
Yeah, they do
everywhere.
put frogs everywhere.
They
so
put him in the
kind of fun,
90th anniversary castle under the
Yeah.
the latrine.
Yes.
All his little brown frog at the bottom.
Right. Part of it is made up of, to make it look like stone, it's a bunch of Thor's hammers on
Yes.
one side, which is really fun. And then inside, there is the 2x4 tile. It's the blacksmith's hammer and tongs, and it's the same one that's on the medieval blacksmith's shop. So that's fun. That's the same one on both. Underneath the bed, there's a hidden acorn, a little 1x1 round tile of an acorn, because there's just squirrels all around,
Yeah.
which I think is a fun thing. And then there's also on the top where it has a fireplace and stuff, there's a couple homages to, there's a little tiny tree house. And so it's a little mini one. And then there's also the yellow tractor trucks. There's one out there. It's just a little yellow. It's not a round. It's like the U-shaped one. And it's like a little homage to the yellow tractors and stuff.
That's cool.
And then going down the stairs, there's a 1x1 plate, and then upstairs where all these the toys are for it, there's a couple other just loose ones, so it's always having a Lego on the stairs,
That's
to step on, which I
Yes.
think is really fun. I think that's hilarious that they added that on the stair, because that's where you will find one loose Lego is on the
course.
stairs
Of course.
at night walking down.
I think there was also wasn't the doormat in the set?
The
something
doormat
too?
says Lego.
Says Lego. I
Yeah.
think it was it the dark red one
It's
from
dark red.
from the truck. I
Yes,
think.
yeah. It's dark red, it has Lego on it.
Lots of
which
cool
is really
used
fun.
printed tiles in that set.
Yeah.
Well, very
That's good
cool.
stuff.
Did everyone finish their lists?
That's my
Did we
list.
Get everything.
I got everything.
This is, of course, not
Oh,
a
I got one. I
comprehensive-
got one more.
Oh,
all
all
right,
right,
all right.
yeah.
This one. This is a good one.
So,
So
one to finish out on.
Yeah.
in this bunny house set here, they actually put an Easter egg
Yeah.
Oh.
down here in the corner. You
That's-
barely see it.
That's
Yeah.
an Easter egg.
Uh-huh.
You barely see
Look
it,
at
but there's
that.
an Easter egg there.
That is an Easter egg.
Yeah. It is. I mean, if somebody needs to
Yeah.
fill an Easter basket, you need to come get that and put it in there.
There you go. It's an Easter video now,
That's right.
folks.
We're
That
selling
was-
the ears back?
ATLbrick.com.
Yeah, atlbrick.com. We got those.
Pretty affordable.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this, of course, has not been a comprehensive list of Lego Easter eggs because there are virtually infinite Easter eggs. So let us know what some of your favorites are down in the comments. I'm sure we missed some very good ones. We might have had some other references in sets that we didn't get.
Speaking of missing, did we talk about this?
I don't know. Did we not talk about this?
I don't think we did. Yeah.
Too late. I'm on the outro.
Okay.
In a nutshell,
Look it up and let. Yeah.
that should be obvious.
Yeah.
This was the Galaxy Explorer before they gave us the Galaxy Explorer
Yeah.
again. But yeah, the Benny spaceship here with the LL929 stickers, whereas I think that the Galaxy Explorer was LL928, if I'm not mistaken.
And LL stood for Legoland.
Legoland, yeah. I know.
Yep.
But very cool. So anyway, let us know what other Easter eggs we missed, or if there were even other references in sets we brought up, like the Haunted Mansion that's just filled with them. So let us know what we missed. But otherwise, thank you for joining this episode of Between the Studs. Thank you to Randy and Chris for joining me today. And we will catch you on the next episode. Make sure to like this video and consider subscribing before you head out. Bye-bye, everybody.